right. Hello, everybody. Good morning, Prem.
Good morning, Desiree.
How are you this morning?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing?
Awesome. I'm doing great. It's a beautiful day out.
It is a beautiful day.
I love the fall. It's like not too hot, not too cold, sweater weather.
Yeah.
It's awesome. So we are on episode 19, Prem.
Wow.
Yay. Today we are going to talk about breaking down silos. So we're going to give you 5 ways that you can break down silos and promote cross-functional teams in your organization. But first we're going to introduce ourselves for those of you who don't know Prem and I. My name is Desiree Hellick. I am the owner of Clarence Services, which is a digital marketing agency here in New Jersey. We are best known for the Webinar B service, which is a full service solution for webinars. So if you're a professional and you would like to produce webinars to communicate with your prospects and your clients, you can hire us to offer a full service solution where we take away the headaches of all the logistics and setting up your webinar. Same with promoting. We take care of all the promotions of it, and all you do is show up on the day of. So we have lots of clients who are happy doing their webinars, and it's a really good alternative method to lead generating for those of you out there. And how about you, Prem? Tell us about you.
Well, Desiree, thanks for the introduction. As Desiree said, my name is Prem Kumar. I have a boutique consulting firm that Efficace Consulting, that focuses on strategic consulting for small businesses. But having said that, I've been doing strategic consulting for over most of my life, I should say. Ever since I landed in the U.S. shores, March 10th, 1989, with $250 in my pocket, and I'm trying to strategize how to stretch the dollar. So
you're still stretching that $250.
I'm still doing it now. So it's been part of my DNA. You know, I get very creative with ways to sustain yourselves, and I've been doing strategic consulting or strategic part work both in corporate America for different enterprises. I've run large brands, but last almost eight years now, I've been focusing on small businesses that need strategic planning, and of course that's how we met at the 100 Chamber. And the idea of Conversion Chronicle kind of came about because there's so much opportunities that lies for businesses to grow within the community and at large. And the idea behind it was to bring sales, marketing, and all the other entities together. So we're particularly going to focus on that topic today. So that's our episode 19. And as part of the introduction to the topic, but before that, you want to just touch upon, the discussion that we had last week.
Yep. So episode 18 was about, what was it about, Prem? I'm sorry.
No,
creating seamless customer experience. I'm like, wait a second, because I'm looking at my notes. I'm like, wait, that's silos. That's today. Sorry about that. And I particularly love the customer journey because I feel like I'm working on it every single day at Clarent. And we really talked about how it's super important that you have your prospects and customers trust you. You have transparency in things like pricing and what you offer. And really just meeting the core customer needs throughout your customer journey. And any way that you can break it down and make it more simplified and more of a seamless process is going to give you retention with your current clients, and it'll also attract new clients to you. So it was a really great discussion. I love that topic. But today we are going to talk about silos and how you can overcome the concept of silos in your business. And we're going to give you 5 ways to break down silos.
Absolutely.
Do you want to start us off, Prem?
Absolutely. The definition of silos or breaking down silos is eliminating barriers between different departments, teams, functions within an organization, and encourage better communication, collaboration, and cooperation. What that entails essentially is, as Desiree pointed out, is one of the opportunities within businesses that, at least in my career, that I've seen, because everybody tends, and I don't think it is intentional, it is just the way people are, they tend to work within their expertise But the critical part is when a product or anything that you have, a service or that you're trying to promote, if every part of the organization is on the same page, it has a different connotation, different message that gets out to people. And people recognize that, as with anything else, like body language. It's a body language for business when all stakeholders are working together. So you got to break those silos down, and that's the enhance. It applies to every part of the business. So that's by definition is what you mean by breaking the silos. And it also does is it promotes cross-functional teams. What does that mean? It involves teams composed of members of various departments, disciplines who work together. They may be, so for example, if you have a product that gets manufactured elsewhere, and then you have somebody who sources the raw materials for whatever that product that you're building. There's a manufacturing facility, right? You need to understand all the stakeholders that are involved within that manufacturing cycle, so to say, so that the product that comes to you, that let's say the marketing lead, and you have a sales team that goes and promote it, you need to understand how that product comes together, who are the stakeholders, because I know we can give examples later, but there could be a problem down the road, but once you know who the players are, it becomes easier for any challenges that come up. But essentially, it actually promotes cross-functional team efforts. Everybody knows what everybody else is doing, so that your capacity to not only to compete but also to contribute to the ultimate goal it gets enhanced, because everybody knows what their role is, everybody knows what their end goal is, how the entire team comes together. So instead of pointing fingers at the end of the day, you collaborate
as a team. Absolutely.
And that's in a nutshell is how you break the silos down, and we're going to go into the details of it. But,
for sure. So,
but you can go into why it is important.
Yeah.
Right?
So here are a few reasons why we need to break down silos. So if you have a business and you sense that this is happening, that your teams are not talking to each other, here are a few reasons why it's very good for you to break that down. So the first thing is enhanced communication. So when you do have silos, when silos exist, the flow of information is restricted between the teams. And so this can lead to delays, it can lead to misunderstandings and missed opportunities.
Absolutely.
And it also ensures, when you break down these silos, that information is shared openly and efficiently across the entire organization. And so for me, what I find, almost 100% of the companies I worked for before I started my own company, silos existed for sure. And because I live in the marketing and sales world, I would say the silo between marketing and sales is so common, and yet they should be one and the same almost. Yeah. Because really, marketing is starting the sales process for sales. And depending on how much information marketing is providing to your prospects, that can help you close the deal even further and further down that funnel. But if you're not talking to sales, nobody's going to know when to hand the baton off.
Absolutely. And another aspect of it between marketing and sales, if you take those two stakeholders together, right, as Desiree pointed out, marketing initiates the sales process or whatever. If you look at the function, if you define sales, their job is to go sell. They're not thinking about strategy. That is what's supposed to be done by the marketing teams. Now, to the point what Desiree was making, if the marketing teams has the buy-in from the sales to begin with of their strategic imperatives, the sales teams are that motivated because, I'm aligned with this, I'm going to go sell. But if they question it because you don't have, you work in silos, it creates a barrier that kind of withholds success, communication, every aspect of business kind of fails. So.
Yep. Very good point. It also helps you improve your collaborations.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what this does is when you're working in isolation, when two teams are working, sometimes you're duplicating your efforts. And that means you're wasting money. Right? Yeah. On operations and on whatever efforts you're doing to reach your goals. Sometimes people are on two different teams are trying to do the same thing. And when you promote the cross-functional teamwork, this is really enhancing your efforts to reach that goal.
Absolutely.
Right? And
Yeah.
you're making sure, A, you're not duplicating your efforts, you're not wasting your time. Maybe one of the teams has tried something that the other team is doing and they've done it before and they knew it failed. So they're going to fail twice.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yep.
But also increased innovation. So more heads are better than one. When you put two teams together, also the perspective changes.
Absolutely.
So remember that, and I always go back to sales and marketing, but operations is huge here too. But I'm going to use the example of sales and marketing again. But sales, they're in the weeds with the actual prospects. They're having conversations, actual conversations with the prospects and with their clients.
Sure.
And what this means is they have insights that the marketing team does not. The marketing team should be taking those insights of what the sales team is learning about their target.
Right.
And that's how the marketing team should be shaping their messaging to speak to the prospects.
Absolutely.
If there's no communication, then that's going to be lost, and marketing is going to be doing a guessing game.
Exactly. And talking about innovation, how innovation happens is when the teams are involved in the decision making or the process, as Desiree pointed out, they think for the betterment of everybody.
Yes.
And that's how ideas come into play. And then you can take those ideas, credit the people who came up with the idea. That's how the team building aspect kind of comes alive. So,
yeah, absolutely. And then really the last reason is to better the customer experience.
Yes.
Think about that. So think about if you come in with a promotion for a product or a service, and you come into a place of business, you're like, hey, I saw this online, I printed out the barcode. And what if the person at the desk is like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Right.
I've never seen this promotion before. I've never seen this coupon before. And that's happened to me several times. That is a perfect reason as to why your teams need to communicate.
Right. Yes.
Because one hand needs to talk to the other
Sure.
in order for you to provide a better customer experience.
Right.
Because now that customer is thinking, they're not put together.
Yeah.
This company doesn't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
They don't talk to each other. They don't even know what promotions that are out there.
Yeah.
So that's one good example of why breaking down silos can really affect the customer experience.
Sure.
So how about we start, Prem, on 5
Yeah.
ways to actually break down these silos?
Let's do that. So as Desiree said, we're going to discuss the 5 ways that you can break down the silos. The first one always is establish clear shared goals. The key magic word is shared goals, right? The clear aspect, I think most people are fully engrossed in having clear goals. And the reason why you want to do this, aligning the team around a common goal, as we touched upon earlier, it allows you to break silos down as everyone is working toward the same outcome, right? Whether it is the sales target, when the market research comes in from a marketing perspective and they figure out what the sales goals are, if you align the sales teams to that process, they are bought in to that goal that you're setting up for the sales organization. Yep. They think it's achievable. If it is a stretch goal, then they think that because they were involved, they can go all out to get that stretch goal, because not only it becomes a success of the company, but it impacts their pocket at the end of the day. So that's one of the primary reasons, that it enhances everybody's outcome and the organization's outcome. And of course, at the personal level, it enhances your outcome. How do you do that? You have you clearly communicate the organizational objectives, right? So you start from the top and you go down stepwise. So if there's a mission for the organization, you align that mission. Say, for example, if you are in a biotech company, in a pharmaceutical industry, and you're impacting patients' life, the mission, of course, is to enhance patient care in whatever that field is, right? From that line where you say that we are here for the patients, every aspect of what you do has to impact that, right? Yeah. Whether it is the goals that you set up, whether it is the strategic plan that you set up, the advocacy, every part of your organization needs to touch upon that mission. So you clearly establish or communicate the organizational objectives, ensure that each team understand how their team or their work impacts that ultimate mission. how they contributing for it. And you give credit to where credit lies, and and that's how the team kind of comes together. But if you work in silos, if the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing, they question it, and the customer at the other end, whether it is patients, whether it is any product that you're selling, they will know immediately. And there was another market research is a great example of if you are a product or a service, and if there is 10, let's say you have, for the sake of discussion, if you have 10 customers that are that are coming to you right now, you know how many people come back and question whether something's wrong with you? 1. The other 9 goes away without any reason because they're dissatisfied with the communication. What they saw was did not apply to what they were looking for, but they don't come and tell you.
Yep.
Right? So you are working in vacuum. So I always have another saying that you control the controllables. What you can control is your team and how you establish the clear communication within the team.
Yep.
So as an example, going back to healthcare, how I've had the privilege of working with Memorial Sloan Kettering, which is a cancer center in the city. If you are a patient, and my wife, being a cancer survivor, has been a patient there, they have articulated over the years what that service looks like. Mm-hmm. If, as post-COVID, there is the concept of virtual physician appointments, all those are so process-driven because the technicality of this, the patients get lost. They have a whole process. Give an example. If my wife has an appointment, which is yearly because of a cancer, she's cancer-free, thank God, but she has the follow-up every year. There is a technical, adaptability that happens the day before her appointment. Somebody calls her saying, this is for the link that you need to call on. They test the link with her the day before. So it has become very seamless as to how they operationalize it.
Yep.
Right? So what happens is the patient is a cancer patient. Let's forget don't take my wife as an example because she's cancer-free at this point. But there are patients who are going through this battle. Think about all the other, things that they have to worry about.
Yeah.
If you take all this out, it's a great example of where they have taken care of the back end technical challenges that assimilate within a patient, and they focus on patient care, making
was the goal.
Seamless.
Yep,
exactly.
Absolutely.
So the IT department works improving appointment scheduling software with medical staff, streamlining the entire process. So the patient knows my care is, front and center. Yep. I don't have to worry about technicalities. I don't need to worry because that's all taken care of. Yep. It's a small thing, but it's
big impact.
It's a big impact.
Absolutely.
So that's one of the first ways you can do. Establish clear and shared goals. The magic words there is shared.
So the second way that you can break down silos is really encouraging that regular cross communication between the teams. And why this is important, because frequent communication really helps to eliminate those misunderstandings that we talked about earlier, and it builds trust among teammates. Yeah. A lot of times it's like, them against us, or marketing against sales, or operations against whatever, right? And we love to blame, but when you're working together and you're communicating constantly, we all, again, know what goals that we're heading towards. And how you can do this is you can implement regular cross-functional meetings between your teams. This is a very easy thing to do. Yeah. You could do bi-weekly meetings, weekly meetings, whatever you think the frequency should be for the cross-functional communication. But this is really important so that you can align each other. You can make sure that you remind each other of the goals that you're setting. You remind each other of who is responsible for what in order to reach those goals. I have one good example, actually.
Oh, absolutely.
One of my clients, they were not talking to, sales and marketing were not talking to each other. And sales was wondering what happens to the discovery calls of all the people coming into the website when they fill in the form, like I want a demo, for example. So what did we do together? We went onto the form, we filled it out, and we said test. It went nowhere.
Wow.
But without these alignment meetings, we never would have communicated that to marketing, and then marketing went in and fixed the problem.
Right.
That is a perfect example of lost opportunities due to lack of communication. This was going on for months until we demanded that marketing and sales need to start talking to each other.
Yep,
So
absolutely.
that's just one reason why you should, start communicating. Do regular meetings, put them reoccurring, scheduled on your calendars, and make sure people show up, because it will really make a difference.
Absolutely. I can give you, another example, because, I, as a, I also I'm the president of a nonprofit, which is for an art organization here in Flemington. And we just had Art Venture, yes. We just had a jury show. And we have created a system, let's say, for example, the day before the reception, right? We have a checklist of everything that needs to happen for that reception to go well. And the reason that you need to put emphasis on that is because you have your artists that they're coming with their friends, family for the reception, and you're going to give the awards out. But you also have invited the who's who in Flemington, and there will be some dignitaries, political entities that are coming to the meeting. And there's the food, then there's a reception, there's a red carpet, there's multitude of little things that kind of needs to be touched upon.
Yep.
Now, of course, one person cannot do all this. You have teams, so you align with all those teams. Is this food taken care of? The drinks is come out. Is the wine brought in? All those little things contribute to a very successful event.
Yeah.
Right? It's just another example of how, if you communicate well, even then there are small things but you minimize the risk of things falling apart, which gives a seamless event for the attendees, and they want to come back the next year.
Yep.
Or just as an example, but it's any product, any service that you offer needs to have that kind of a regular cross-functional collaboration for your cycle to work.
Absolutely.
In tandem, essentially.
How about
All right.
number 3?
Yep. The number 3 is, in the technological world today, you should leverage aspects or assets that are out there for collaboration. There's tools now that you can facilitate collaboration that helps teams work together more efficiently, even when they are geographically dispersed. In today's world, you could be in California, and you could be in New York, you could be in Manila, you could be in Mumbai. It doesn't matter where you are, but the alignment of the teams can be very much facilitated by technological support. Microsoft Teams is being one of them.
I
Zoom.
use Asana and
use
Google Chat.
Asana. How do you do that? Is you invest in collaboration tools like Asana, in Zoom and things like that, and allows the team to track the progress, share documents, communication in real time. Gone are the days where you have to fax something to somebody and they will review it, have a signature done, then they fax it back. All things are gone.
Yep.
What I just described can be done in about 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Within
real time.
Real time.
Yeah.
And it could be all done, but you need to have a very effective workflow. Like, for example, if you're using Zoom for your communication part of it, right? Make sure you understand every aspect of Zoom, right? How team members could record it, how that could be translated via AI into a
notes,
post
or summary.
Call notes,
Yeah.
a summary of the notes. Your work becomes that much easier. Think about it. If you have to summarize your notes, type it out, and then send it back to the team, the AI today within Zoom calls can summarize it for you, and within minutes. Think about the efficiency there. The team comes to know what was talked about, the goals are, what the actionable steps are. So the next meeting, when it's a week, 10 days later, you know exactly what needs to be done 30 minutes after the call is done.
Yep.
Right? The efficiency part of it. So in one of the examples, as Desiree pointed out, she uses Asana, but there are organizations that, for example, use Slack for communication, and which essentially means everybody knows within the team where everybody is at a given point.
Yep.
Because of that that platform.
It's like a community to meet.
It's a community that, and of
to
course,
organize tasks.
yes. And given the technology today, one of the other things I would say is that, of course, there's no technology that is seamless. You have to work it to make it seamless. So what happens? Going back to the earlier points about, setting goals and clear communications, all that aspects come together when you work together to solve a problem. And that could be enhanced to your actual problem within your product or sales or whatever you want to do.
Absolutely.
So each of these steps kind of contribute to the larger goals of the organization. So.
Yep, absolutely. So number 4 is create cross-functional project teams. So pretty much what that means is if you have a specific goal in mind, you want to create a project team that has representatives from each of your departments. Mm-hmm. And that way you can form these teams, which allow them to tackle specific challenges and really use unique and agile methodologies that come from each of the teams. We all have different styles of learning, of working, of really solving problems.
Sure.
And when you can have those representatives from multiple teams, that's going to really get you the best results when it comes to reaching your goals. And I feel like, the projects such as, it could be campaigns. Of course, I'm in the marketing world all the time. It could be campaigns where, okay, we're going to go run this event. We need somebody from operations. We need somebody from marketing. We need somebody from sales. How do we deal with the leads coming in? What does that funnel look like? What is the process there? Let's write it down. Let's get input from everybody.
Sure.
Right. And same with even our webinar stuff. So we always have somebody who's actually doing the marketing, somebody who's doing the operations in the back end. And we're always on debriefing calls where it's like, okay, let's debrief the webinar that just happened. What went well and what can we do to change it? So from an operations standpoint, from a marketing standpoint, from a sales standpoint, so everybody gets their input on those.
Right.
So it's really important to involve people from all over your organization, because you'd be surprised how they solve problems together.
Absolutely. Can you give an example of a problem that you've had in the organization that because of technology today, you're able to resolve it?
Absolutely. So what we had is we have about 48 subtasks for, let's say, delivering a webinar. And there's probably even more, but let's just say 48 for the sake of this conversation.
So this is the workflow.
This is the workflow.
Got it.
So what happened was we were missing the boat and things were slipping through the cracks on some of our things. Like maybe an email wasn't sent or communication to the customer wasn't sent, or maybe a banner didn't get put up on the client's website due to lack of communication and lack of keeping track of our tasks. So we started an automation workflow through Asana where as soon as somebody signs on for a webinar B, we open that task attached to that client in the client profile, and boom, all 48 tasks come up and they're all assigned to the individual that's responsible for each of those tasks. There's even due dates assigned with them. Sure. So this means that nothing falls through the cracks anymore because it's all written down, it's automated. It took time for us to build it on the back end, but now it's like clockwork and it's easy, and it doesn't matter what employee is working on it. It's all listed there. So it's very clear on what their tasks are.
That's awesome.
So that's just a really good example of utilizing technology, but also bringing in cross-functional teams to give their input on the process. What 48 steps do we actually need here? All the way from when we meet the client to when we deliver and offboard the client.
Sure. So. I'll ask a question to the audience, so in measuring this, breaking the silos down, let's say if you have a process within your organization to get your strategic goals or strategic imperatives lined up for every year, right? And you start, I'm assuming, September, October timeframe for 2025. What did that process look like? Are you involving your cross-functional teams into that process of determining what the strategic imperatives of your organization is for 2025? If you have all those stakeholders on the table while you're discussing your strategic imperatives, then guess what? They know exactly organizationally what is going to happen in 25.
Yep.
Their contribution level increases tenfold. their input increases tenfold, their communication increases tenfold. Automatically, all the spokes of the spokes of the wheel kind of come together, and it becomes a well-oiled machine.
And they feel like they're part of a bigger initiative, which also motivates them.
Exactly.
How about number 5?
Number 5, the last one is develop a culture for mutual respect and learning. Now, as Desiree pointed out, one of the things that's happening in the world is kind of collapsing in a good way because of the internet and Zoom calls, and it doesn't matter where you stay, where you live,
remote teams.
And that means that there is cultural integration that is happening in many fields. But that also brings up challenges, because each one of us need to be respectful of the other culture, because there will be some cultural differences that happen, whether it is somebody in India or somebody in China versus Japan, right? They have a little bit of culture, but at the end of the day, everybody wants to have the same goal. But being respectful of the cultures where they come from can contribute to not only the team building aspect of it, and I like to focus on the strengths of every human being, because that's what contributes to humanity. So that's one way to be respectful and having a learning environment from everybody else, because my dad used to always say, if you're friends with a human being, that person has something that you can learn from. Focus on what you can learn from, and don't worry about the other aspects of the problems, unless they want to involve.
Focus on the positives.
Take the positives, because then build yourself up. So this is one way culturally the mutual respects come in. How you do it is you again let employees encourage employees to participate in cross-functional training, knowledge sharing sessions. Leaders should model this behavior by actively learning from other departments, because there could be something that somebody has an idea, but they're part of a different culture that contributes to something they've done successfully in their career. Mm-hmm. But applying that to the cultural manifestation of your organization helps celebrating cross-functional successes, right? I think Desiree pointed out, if you look at some of the financial services, they host what you call a knowledge sharing sessions, where different departments present their work and learnings of what they found out today. Mm-hmm. I've been in the oncology field for the longest time, and one of the aspects that I'm working now is in lung cancer, and we are trying to figure out what the future looks like in lung cancer from a market access perspective, because the drugs that are coming into the marketplace are becoming more expensive, but they are becoming more targeted and pertinent to a specific disease within patients. But it's important to understand how the landscape is changing within market access, which is essentially who is paying for the drug, how the patient's being impacted. I'm going through that project right now, and understanding the different cultural aspects of it, different parts of United States, and how every state works within this cascade of availability of drugs is pretty fascinating. So that's how you develop a very deep cultural respect and integrity within the organization that will boost your ultimate goals and the functioning of the organization. Awesome. So those are the 5 things. If you want to quickly summarize them.
Yep. So we talked first about establishing those clear and shared goals. Make sure the entire organization is aware of them. The second one is encouraging regular cross-functional communication. Mm-hmm. So make sure you get those meetings on your calendar. The third one was leveraging technology so that you can have better collaboration amongst the teams, especially for remote teams. It's very important. Number 4 was creating cross-functional project teams and making sure you have a representative from each team working on the same project. And finally, you went over developing a culture of mutual respect and learning.
Absolutely.
So cool. Our upcoming episode, which is episode 20, that's crazy to me. I feel like we just started this yesterday. We are going to be interviewing Tom Bay of Anita's Angels, and we're actually going to be talking about the customer experience with him, because we know very well. We know him through the Chamber of Commerce. He's an amazing person, has built up this incredible business. And it will be very interesting because we've seen the whole binder that he brings to show us that this is part of the customer experience. And I would love to dig into that with him. So we'd like to thank all of our listeners today. You can reach us at conversionchronicle.com. There is no S on the end of that. You can subscribe to our newsletter on there, and we will send you the list of our upcoming episodes. We also have archived episodes on the website. So if you want to go back and look at our first 19 episodes, you can go ahead and do that. We are also on Spotify, so you can find us on Spotify as well for our archived episodes. And please follow us and like us on Facebook, which is where we go live when we are recording our sessions, and on LinkedIn. And it's just /Conversion Chronicles for both of those platforms. So if you have any suggestions for us on topics that you would like us to cover, if you would have any questions for us, if you're interested in learning more about what we do, please let us know. You can reach me at clarenceservices.com. How about you, Prem?
Oh, you can reach me, on my cell, which is 516-359-6257, or my email, which is PK, which is my initial, Prem Kumar PK at Effikas Consulting, which is one word, EFFIKAS consulting.com.
Awesome.
Either one of them should be fine.
All right. And thank you very much for listening, and we will see you all on our next episode.